Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl. This is Funny Wine Girl, aka Janine Loopy. We're in March, and I love March because it's Women's History Month. But as I say, every day should really be about women. Honoring us, empowering us, respecting ourselves and one another, and helping each other out. But no, it is a really, I mean, it's funny. These observances, they're things that really we should learn about and appreciate all the time. Black History Month. Don't just think about it in February. Like all this kind of stuff we should be thinking about whenever we can and learning every opportunity we get. But I will say this much about observances. It is a time that's kind of dedicated, so at least you get a little more attention in the media to make people think and go, all right, let me learn a little bit more about this. So every week I like to have different fascinating women on who share about their lives and what they're doing. But March, I think, is especially special for us. Last week I had a great woman on, Michelle. We spoke about feminism and, the power of women and empowering and helping women, women who help other women. And I think that's so important. And as you know, at the beginning of each episode, I do like to say how I know my guests because I am a big fan of or an advocate of being open to meeting people, trying out new things, getting out there in the community so you can meet new people, remembering things. Cause it's very cool when you meet someone out again and you say, oh, how's your son doing? Or how's your puppy that you're people really appreciate that. And it makes them feel special. It makes them feel good. Remembering things, take their business card. You might not think, oh, I don't need an insurance person right now, but you might have met a lovely person and now you can keep in touch. If you see them out and about, you might reconnect over a shared hobby. You might learn something, and you might be able to help one another out. So that's what my little 2 cents is. So my guest this week, Jennifer Aleke, we met through, I believe it was a brunch or an event that was tied to giving back to the community. One of those events. I feel like we saw one another there. We talked. We've seen each other out so many different times since then. We're both out in the community. Jen's doing great things. But Jen was on the podcast here. I want to say it's probably been, my gosh, over 2 years for sure. And we talked then about Jen doing intuitive healing and Reiki, and also about her kind of, what do we say, migration here to Scranton, because Jen is from Jersey. And it's funny, we'll reconnect on that because we had talked about, I miss Scranton here. But just like Michelle last week, Michelle was kind of my guest last week was really out of the area, living in Northern California and in Mexico and all over. And then she came back to this area because this is where her aging mom is, and she wanted to get back to spend time with her. And we talked about that idea of like, yeah, it's sometimes it's us folks who are from here kind of get that like tight knit, like, oh, outsiders. But I don't feel that way, but sometimes people do. But it's cool when people choose to live here and they choose to stay here and they get to learn about the great things we have here in Northeast PA and they contribute their talents. So, with all of that said, I want to welcome a lovely, bright, shining light, Jen Aleke. Welcome back, Jen.
Thank you. It's Aleke.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aleke.
I'm sorry. I should have told you that from the beginning. And that's funny. It's actually so some people may know me as Jennifer Aleke, which is my middle name, and then Jennifer Powell, which is my government name, but I go by Jennifer Aleke after I got divorced, so it's funny.
Okay. And I should have asked you that because I feel like I try to do that and I just thought I knew, but now I know, Aleke. So welcome.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you back on. And I think that, after we've spoken, a couple of years have gone by. So I think you're a little more, immersed, maybe could we say, in Northeast PA?
Yes, that's so funny. You guys have to go back to the podcast, and we were opening up talking about, I don't know, like there's not much to do, and Janine is like, but there is much to do. You just have to get yourself out there. And at the time, I was just tiptoeing out there, and now you kind of see me splattered all over Scranton doing different things, whether it's volunteering as mom, my businesses, employees. So. Now I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's very, and again, it's not about, see, I was right, but it's so cool that Jen, who was from Jersey, came here, and it is different. Obviously every place is different, but our area can be challenging for sure. But it's rewarding, I should say, for me to hear that you are doing well and that you're enjoying yourself, you're thriving, and that you're connecting with people and finding things that really feed your soul that you like to do.
Yes, and I think I know there are a lot of people going through separation and divorces and everything like that, and you can kind of put yourself in a hole and pigeonhole yourself. But it actually encouraged me to say, you know what? I do need some type of community. I came here, you know, just with my ex-husband, and we didn't really have family around here. So now that we're divorced, it's like, oh my goodness, I need to do something for my children. And that really inspired me to go out and find different communities and things to do. And now it's just even more diverse than ever. And it's very exciting to see.
Yeah, Scranton is. I mean, we have a long way to go. As I just said last week to Michelle. So I was born and raised here. I mean, I do know there's many problems, obviously, but I said every place is home to someone. It has its problems, it has its benefits, and we can't turn a blind eye to the stuff that needs work. But it is changing and moving, I believe, in the right direction. And you see that, which is hopeful.
Yes, very hopeful.
Yeah, and
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we're going to talk about it, but uh, I was in the newspaper this past Sunday, and in the reference it was like discover NEPA, and I was like in the reference or in the article, I'm like, yeah, I do consider Scranton home. I I said it out loud for the first time, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Scranton is my home. I can say that now.
Great. I love hearing that though, because I'd much rather hear these stories than people who are like, "Get me the hell out of here," right?
Yes,
You
that's
know.
how I used to be. Like, I can't stand
And I'm trying to remember. I think we met at maybe the Women Are Power brunch. I feel like
it.
we did, right? Okay.
I was a host. I was talking about not a host. I was a speaker talking about like Reiki and intuition and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I want to talk about, since you've been on, a lot has changed. Besides you really calling Scranton your home, which makes me happy, you've gotten into other things that are. I mean, you really are out and about. Like I literally can't even look on Facebook without seeing where you're at, and or even in the paper. I just saw a post, a Times Leader, I think even there was
yeah.
something. You started a business, and I want to talk about that. Where you make cookies, and I've been saying they're organic, they're vegan, they're gluten free, but I could be wrong in saying all those things. I just know they're healthy, and I keep saying this, and pardon me, I'm like, they're healthy and they actually taste good.
Right, right.
But
That's how I feel like. But
sometimes people don't know.
yes, and I do have to give the caveat for people that are like diabetic or they can't do sugar at all. This isn't considered healthy for you guys, but there is a level of healthiness because it is gluten-free, it's dye-free, egg-free, nut-free, soy-free. Um, a lot of people struggle with food allergies and they can't eat anything. So for this, it's a type of healthy cookie. I don't want people to think like, oh my gosh, no, it's still sugar. It's brown sugar in there, but it's healthier.
Yeah. Well, hey, and look at what's out there. I mean, honestly, do half of us even know what is in our food? And I mean, I'll plead ignorance. How often do I really look at the only thing I do, like occasionally, like if I was buying yogurt, I mean, some of those are full of sugar. So I might be like, okay, I don't mind the natural. I'll just add fruit. And there's a huge difference with sugar. But to be honest, most of the time, I'm not looking at the dyes,
Nope.
all the different like the words that have 37 letters in them that are not good. I don't check that stuff out, and a lot
No,
of
you're
us
just looking for
don't.
a snack.
Yeah, so your stuff is healthier, but let's tell everybody the name of your company and how all of this got started with the cookies, because you are all over with these and I want people to check them out.
Yes. So the name is called Jams Delights. Jams is Jen, me, and Mike. That he's the M. So we started this company. It was inspired by my son, actually. He was born with a host of allergies. But Mike and I met through our daughters. So they went to elementary school together. They are still good friends to this day. And so they always wanted to hang out. And it's funny, like they've been friends, but I don't know, after 2, 3 years, we actually met, even though they had been friends for a while. Um, and so we became, it's so interesting because Um, Mike is in some ways opposite of me. Like he's from a different generation, he's from a different race, he's from a different uh political perspective. So you would think like, what the heck? Like how what do you guys have in common? What's going on here? But it was crazy because I had that bias in the beginning, like this is awkward, this is weird, like, but it's so funny how when you break down those layers, uh, you actually have genuine conversations, you see the commonalities, and you're like, oh my goodness, I've been shutting myself off from certain community, and this is actually what I need. So just from understanding each other and getting a perspective, we wanted to do something. And our business initially was Jams Uniting Differences. And we wanted to, I don't know, we were just throwing different ideas. We started a podcast, and that one, I was like, we are not doing this podcast because I'm not happy with you right can't do this. Let's cut this out. And then I think it was I probably left something again for my son's birthday party and I didn't have the cookies. I couldn't go to the store and get the cardboard cookies for him to eat or something. And I was like, what about cookies? Like you have gluten-free sensitivities. I can't do gluten-free. I have a lot of food. You know, my son can't do it. How about we do it? And we're like, okay. So we just started researching like, okay, we don't want certain things in there, like the common foods. We know that the dyes are going to go away eventually, or some of them at least. Um, a lot of people are allergic to nuts, and egg. So let's start there. And we just started playing with recipes. We started tweaking and adding. Um, and then how did it become like, we just started researching. Sorry. We just started researching like where can we start? We found Southside Farmers Market. Um, and they are there every weekend, Saturday, 10 to 1. This year, or last year actually, was the first time that they expanded it to winter. So it's all year round now. So we decided to start there. Before that, of course, we had to go through the process of getting a commercial kitchen because we both had animals and all of the cottage rules and all that stuff. So um, we actually started we got the PA Department of Agriculture. We have our pop-up license, things of that nature. But we started in Honesdale, cooking at a commercial kitchen in Honesdale.
Hmm.
And then yeah, and that was about 40. How far is that? That's like 50 minutes.
Yeah, from Scranton it could be like 45 minutes to an hour. It's a good
Yeah.
ride. Yeah.
So it was like, oh my goodness. And you know why? Because Scranton didn't have a commercial kitchen. Like now, I know there's one in now they're promoting it really good as well in Dixon City. I forgot which one that was. But at the time it was hard to contact. We couldn't get in contact with anybody. I think there was a change of organization there. Um, so then it's funny, a friend, Rose Daniels. Are you familiar with Rose
I
Daniels?
don't think I know, Rose. No.
She is a great person. She does poetry. She has her own business, um, and she really is a huge advocate of the community. She works with the youth a lot.
Hmm.
I saw her post saying that she was a director at Gather Community. She got a new position, and I'm like, Gather Community? I've never even heard of that. That's in Wilkes-Barre. Um, and I reached out to her and I was like, do you guys have a commercial kitchen? And she's like, yeah, come for a tour. Come. And I'm like, what? So it was amazing. Ironically, when I used to do Reiki at a place close to Wilkes-Barre, the vice president, on the board. I met her in a different setting, and then I'm at Gather, and I see her, and I'm like, "What? What is this?" So everything just kind of came together. It was beautiful. Um,
Don't
but
you love when the universe does that for you? Yeah.
That's great. And just to give them a plug, Gather Community is not only a commercial kitchen, they have community events, they do yoga, they do meditation classes, they have a plethora of wonderful events there. And so it was just fitting. It was right up my alley. Um, and yeah, we've been at Gather cooking ever since, and we said, okay, so how do we really push these cookies out? Um, I think that was around the time you went to AFA. You invited us to AFA actually. Uh,
Yeah, last I want to say March, I think it was March or
yeah,
April. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. And before that, just from a business perspective, I had gone through shout out to Zakia Smith from University of Scranton Small Business. I went through their program they had at the time before it got shut down. They had a wonderful women's entrepreneurial program that I went through. And from that, I was able to obtain this WIPLOM grant for our business. Um, and I forgot the women of
Women in philanthropy. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, no, and I'll take a moment here to give them a shout out. That's the Scranton Area Foundation. I'm a member. Anyone can be a member, and it doesn't honestly you don't have to have a ton of money. Like I'm probably the lowest amount. I think it's like 100 and something for 100 for the year just to be a member. But you can even attend without being a member. You can just volunteer your time, whatever skills you have. It's part of the Scranton Area Community Foundation. They do so much good stuff. They do give out a loan. I know my friend Tina Gallagher got one for her romance novels, I think to make an audiobook, but they also like support a lot of things in the community to help enrich women's lives. So yeah, I'm so happy that you were able to get one of those. Yeah.
It was wonderful. The program was wonderful. I went to a few events. This year, I plan on getting more involved in it as well. Um, but yeah, so after getting the loan, we really were able to kind of push out more. The first uh, company we went to was Electric City Roasting in Dunmore.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our cookies there. We have them in Blackwatch, which is across the street from, is that Geisinger?
Yeah, in Naog Park there. It's a beautiful old it was originally I think bathhouse like houses where you would change because back in the day they had a beach at Naog Park like
Oh,
way back in 1920s, 1900s, and that was like I think either restrooms or like a changing room, and so it's this beautiful incredible stone building that they've turned into this gorgeous cafe. So I
yeah,
just it's
really
gorgeous.
cool in there. And then we went over to Retro. Retro's great. They allowed us to host the actual Discover NEPA. That's where we hosted it at Retro. Um, and and then so since we cook in Wilkes-Barre, somebody told us like you have to try this place. You have to go to Abide Cafe.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, okay. It's amazing there.
Yep.
I love Abide. I love Abide. And
Yeah.
they have a whole bunch of events there too. They're
Yeah,
open.
in fact, I saw Dan a couple weeks ago when I was meeting someone for coffee and mentioned you. I'm like, I see my friend Jen's cookies there. Oh, he's like, oh, she's great. We love them. Everybody loves them. They are Dan and Melissa and Austin, I think is their son.
Yeah.
They are so loved in the community and rightfully so. They are very good to the community too. Mhm.
Yes, I love them. So, and then we just recently added, are you familiar with Fico coffee?
You know, that's an old forge, I think, right?
Yes.
I have seen that again, other people posting on Facebook, and I love coffee shops. So I'm like, I have got to get there because I
You have
anything new
to.
opens up, I got to get there.
Yes. So that's our plan. We want to just keep on. And this is the most important part. And I think it's important, especially for the times that we're in now. Um, it's not just about the cookie. When you think about a cookie, you're like, oh, it's good. But it's really about the uniqueness and the individuality of people, and then merging that and being able to be a part of something. So if you, whether you have a peanut allergy or whether you have a difference in personality, this is just a representation that we can all come together in our own unique right and live and be amongst each other and and actually benefit and help each other grow. So that's really what our company is about. There's so much negativity that we could focus on. There's so much division, there's so much misunderstanding and misconception. But when we actually just slow down, nobody's mad at a cookie. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna give my example here, and I'm gonna ask if are you a fan at all of Seinfeld?
I used to watch Seinfeld, but it's been so long. So,
Okay. There is an episode where they're in a bakery and basically their whole idea is race relations. And Seinfeld goes, look to the cookie, the black and white cookie. He's
yes.
like, look to the cookie. And that's all that this is what making me think of. See, the cookie can bring peace.
Yes, that's really, and you can, no one's requiring you that you morph into something that you're not, or that you change your perspective. Bring your perspective because diversity is what makes us grow. That's what actually puts the pieces together. So that's really the message. It's about uniting our differences while being your individual self.
Yeah. And so for folks who aren't from the area, basically what Jen and I were talking about, these different coffee shops, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, Dunmore, that is where the cookies are. Like, so if you go up to the counter, you'll see them there and they're very recognizable once you see Jen. In fact, here's a great opportunity. Jen, do you want to hold up for folks who want to go
Yeah.
to YouTube and show us Jam's Delights? There's a box right there. And then
You can order the
individual.
boxes on jamsdelights.com.
Okay. And then the individual cookies right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
So,
to Farmers Market, Southside Farmers Market. We play around with different flavors.
okay.
Those will fluctuate.
Okay. So you have, I know I feel like you started with chocolate. Is it chocolate chip was like one of your first?
Yep.
Okay. And then
So,
what are the flavors? Tell us what you offer now because you've been mixing it up a lot.
oh yeah. So we started off with three flavors actually.
Okay.
Chocolate chip, cacao infused oatmeal raisin, and we called it white hot chocolate, which was a dark cacao with white hot chocolate chips in it. Unfortunately, there is a shortage, and it's been a shortage for a
Mm,
while with the dark cacao from Hershey that we use, the ingredient that we use. So we haven't been able to duplicate that cookie with another
mm,
brand. And I'm like, listen, if it's not that taste, I don't want to, I don't want to put it on there. So we're patiently waiting. We'll probably
okay.
be longer now,
I
but
remember I want to say trying that, and that was very good. I know yeah, I liked that one a lot.
yes. So now we're mixing at the farmers market. Oh man, I wish that I had their card. There is a maple company, a local maple company that actually makes maple syrup. So we circulated a maple glaze cookie. We did which we're going to continue doing a chocolate like a regular cookie with just chocolate on it, and then the cacao infused cookie with chocolate on it. We just want to play around with different variety of cookies and get it out there. But our main one, especially for coffee shops, this is the go-to. Like everyone loves the individual chocolate chip cookie.
Now, can people order so from online? Can they just do I would imagine the box. You focus on the box of
Yep.
cookies, right? Okay.
Online right now is just the box. And again, the white hot chocolate's online, but it says out of stock because we're just waiting. But you can order the other two.
Okay. And is that something like is that like a supply chain issue? Like there's not enough of it or
Yeah, so I guess so it comes from Africa. I forgot what part, but I guess the season was horrible.
that
So
makes sense. Okay.
and still waiting.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Let me ask you about so you're out there hustling. I see you every time. I love seeing you pop up and be like, okay, check out now you can get my cookies here, like all these different coffee shops. What's it like to have like so you have to leave the house, you have to go to this kitchen and make your product. What's it like to do that part? Because people who aren't in this like the food industry don't understand this. Like I wouldn't understand what it's like. Are you like
Yeah.
lugging your stuff? Or do you have like a refrigerator there, refrigerator with all your stuff?
Yeah, so we rent out a commercial kitchen from Gather, and we have our own cabinet space. We have our own like refrigerator space. So we don't have to lug anything, only the products that we're buying from the store. Um, in the beginning, it was, and as we change ingredients, like play with different cookies, it can be very frustrating because it's not like we're traditional bakers. It's not like I don't even, cookies aren't my jam. No pun intended. Um, so getting those formula, I can tell you, okay, so I'll give you an example. So we were first doing very small batches, and then we had to increase, but I had no idea about the word is slipping my mind right now, about scalability. And so when you cook more, the ingredients change. You have to change the ingredients. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we wasted some money there, just playing playing with that. Um, and then I love it because like for my processing in my brain, it just creates creativity and you just feel the love in making the cookies and sometimes the kids are with us and they're having fun and it's just it's kind of like an escape from reality because you're making these cookies that you want people to enjoy and you're just putting love into it. Um, but at times it can also be stressful. So we have a cook coming up, and all of the stores at once are like, "Oh yeah, we need more cookies. We need more cookies. We need more cookies." And I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay." So now it's like, "All right, let's make sure we have the right count, the right cookies, the right ingredients. Like, make sure we're not missing anything." So it can be hectic, but once you actually get in the kitchen, it's very peaceful. Like it's once you have the flow, it's peaceful. So.
That's now I'm curious as you're saying that because you have, I believe you still have your day job, right?
Yes.
So no, because and I only say that because I know I hear the joy and you're joyful. Would what would it look like? Do you think would you want it to be your full time thing? Like because then it has a different shift to it, then a different pressure, I would
Right.
imagine.
I don't think I would. Like of course I would want to do multiple things, but I like being able to give and receive. I look at my day job as um, obviously it's my breadwinner and but I'm also learning new things and there's great perks to my job and I don't have the pressure of not having, I don't know, not having a lot of incentives that I have with a 9 to 5 job. I would love, and even if I didn't, like even if I'm like, okay, I'm over corporate, I think I still would want something to balance me out. I don't want to just be doing one thing. Like to your point, if I 100% focus on cookies, it wouldn't be as fun. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be, especially because I'm not a cookie lover. So it's not like it's my, you know what I mean? Like,
It's my passion, cookies.
right. It's my passion in the sense that I love to provide and talk to people and provide solutions because, I mean, they're getting better now. Now I think Chips Ahoy and, other people are getting on the gluten-free bandwagon, whatever, but there's nothing like a good local cookie
Yeah.
that you can talk to people about. I've talked to so many people that are like, I just can't eat this, or a lot of people buy it for loved ones.
Mm.
And they're like, oh, I know that, my sister's gluten free. She can't do it, or she can't do eggs. And just bringing the community together in that way, I love, but I can't see it being a 100%.
Yeah. And just because I could hear the joy, and a lot of times people like I have a joy in what I do, but I also do a variety of things as well. When you're focused so hard, sometimes I just think the stress and the burnout maybe takes away some of that joy. So it's great that you have that joy. And it's also like you said, nothing like local, but you also get to you can give samples so people can really try it. You could talk about it and you can get ideas maybe even for, I'm sure you do occasionally for future flavors if people are like, do you have this kind of flavor?
Yeah, someone actually the owner of the Maple, I feel so bad that I don't it's Maple Mountain something. Um but she's like jams because I called her. I'm like I need some maple syrup. And she's like, "What do you do? Like you do jam, right?" And I'm like, "No, we don't make jam." She's like, "You need to make jam." She gave me a full recipe and she's like, "If you make this, we'll sell it in the store." So people just want to help, you know? They want you to be a part of the community and let's jump on it. So now we have an idea in the back of our head like one day we need to start some jam or something.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned earlier about like the you get to be talking to people like at the farmers market, all these different places. But and we did talk before, sometimes it gets to be a lot, like especially if you are shy and you didn't necessarily plan to be out so much connecting with people. How do you manage that for yourself? Because you're passionate about it, so you want to be able to talk to people about it, obviously with joy, and it brings them joy too, especially if they're like, "Oh, this was a really good cookie." But it does take from your own personal energy sometimes to keep giving your energy too.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
I have no idea. So I'm like, I volunteer once a week for my daughter's school. I'm on the PTA for my son's school. I work. I, the only way that I balance it is that I know I do things with intention because I am naturally an introvert. Like I don't like going out. You will never see me probably just randomly being like, "Oh, let's go." Da, 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 da." Like I'm not that type of person. So I do things with intention. And what really helps me out is it does give me energy to know that I'm doing something purpose-filled. So I feel like there's an exchange of it. Um, but sometimes, like I had an event, a workshop I had to cancel because I'm like, I need I need to be by myself right now. I
Mm-hmm.
need to reset. I need to refocus. But it's so funny when I'm out there talking to people with the cookies, I think it's just like this laser attention. Like I know that I'm doing this purpose-filled work and it's making me feel good and the stories and the encouragement. So I think that's how I get through all of my stuff.
Yeah, that's great. And you referenced it there. So let's talk about, you also, in addition to all the stuff you're doing, you also do these great workshops. Is it I Love Myself?
Yes, I love myself workshops. Yes. And shout out to Anna from Nancy K. Holmes Library on Greenridge. She is amazing.
Yes, she is. I know
I
her.
love Anna. She saw that, I don't know if it was my TikTok or my Facebook, but every weekday, I try to do 1 minute affirmations on my TikTok page, just to, in the beginning of the day, just to center. And it's really quick, you know, and it gets me going. I'm like, let me share this. So sometimes I would randomly post it on Facebook too or something. So my son is a bookworm. We're always at Nancy K. And one day she's like, why don't you do like a workshop? I know that you do like Reiki and intuition. Why don't you start a workshop? And I was like, you know what? I will. So it was a great opportunity. Now I do workshops at Nancy K, Black Scranton, Gather. Last year, I had an opportunity with Wilkes University. And you were at the event too that I did last year. What was that? The Fiber
Oh,
Hero?
in November, right? With the Family Service Association, it was a National Caregivers Week. It was you did a breakout session, I believe,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Hmm.
yes. So, um, that one. That one inspires me. I kind of got away from the individual Reiki and intuition just because, as you know, as you can hear, my life is crazy, but it also takes a lot out of me when I'm working on an individual basis. But the workshops are completely opposite because they're breakout sessions. People are actually talking, they're hearing themselves, and I'm just navigating through the situation. I love them. I absolutely, they're amazing. amazing.
What would you tell someone? Because again, you see, sometimes people they want to do something good for themselves, but they're afraid maybe of putting themselves out there, opening up. I love myself. Oh boy, what am I going to have to do at this workshop? Because sometimes it's hard to get people out, and I'm sure they would walk away feeling so good.
Oh my
What would
goodness.
you tell someone who's a little bit like, I don't know, like, what do I have to like be vulnerable? Do I, because sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, I would say you don't have to do anything. Just come and be a part of the atmosphere. It's not required that you speak. Last time, um, I I collaborated with Glenn from Black Scranton, and we created a workbook. So if you were to just go there and just take the workbook and then use the workbook at home, unpack a lot of stuff. But many people don't realize just from listening or from hearing their own thoughts, they we all have the answers ourselves. We just have to remember and realize that a lot is programming. A lot of it is just societal programming. And unfortunately, our society teaches us to reach out to others outlets and other people for solution and outward, outward, outward. We don't realize that we're not even consulting with ourselves. We're not even connecting with ourselves to figure out what we like, what we want. And so you don't have to do anything at the workshops. You can simply just attend and just pick up just the energy from the workshop.
I love that because sometimes I love what you just said, listening. And I mean, I can tell you how often I've listened to whether it's a podcast or a speaker at a conference. Sometimes, I mean, and you know yourself, you probably heard some are more quality than others, right? Because you're like, oh, I've heard this a million times. But I usually say at the very least, it might trigger something in me that's like, oh, well, I do this already. So maybe I should start tweaking it to be like that. Or let me add this. And you think of things and that's always helpful.
Yes, and even the very shy introverted person, they usually do end up saying, you know what you just said, that's what I can relate to that. Or even if it's not a lot, just that little bit to know that, oh my gosh, I'm not alone in this. It makes a difference. And it's not overwhelming. It's nothing, required. It's fun, it's thoughtful. Um, Sometimes I like to give caveats because it is self-work. So sometimes, like, if it is too much, I've had a workshop where a woman, I gave the heads up, like, this might be a lot, like it might be triggering. And so at a certain point, she was like, yeah, I couldn't participate. I couldn't talk much, but it was too triggering, but I definitely appreciate it. And that was it. And so it's whatever you make of it. It's just a safe space. And I am not by any means a doctor. I'm not a counselor. I'm not any of those things. It's just to encourage you to learn how to love yourself and
Mm.
what that looks like, what that feels like.
That's great. I love that. And it's interesting, she could participate only to a certain point. I know a lot of obviously we know this, but sometimes we forget that a lot of our reaction to things and what we want or say about things about us because I'm thinking of myself when I am out somewhere and someone doesn't seem to really be like they think the laughter yoga is silly and they're not fully engaged, but maybe they are a little. I don't know what they're thinking. They might be kind of enjoying it, but shy or whatever. And that's about me, I know, because it's like me looking for validation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's my issue. But I don't know what they're taking away. And some do, some might just think, okay, this isn't for me. And that's okay too. But I used to take it personally. Like I was like, oh, I didn't say the right things today or whatever. And like, why aren't they? Because I'm looking for validation. But I should
Right.
realize too, they might be taking something away and they're just not fully able to be engaged right now. Or because I had a
Yeah.
woman once who was, she was Asian and she said in her culture, like for her to laugh like that was just not something she felt uncomfortable. And she shared that with me. It's not like I asked her, but I was like, okay, I didn't even consider that really before.
Yes. But she probably got so much out of it just by being around it. She's like, oh, probably, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it makes her have a different perspective, like, oh, maybe I can laugh a little bit more. So that's really cool. That's what it's all about. I feel like we want to, it's dualistic. We want to be apart and we want to connect. And but in that, you kind of lose your identity when you're just trying to follow the masses. You're here to be your genuine self. So you have to find that in order to make an impact.
Yeah, that's great. I love like what you said is not probably talked about enough, how we're seeking answers all the time or most of the time outside of ourselves. And I mean, I know for myself, talking about we're getting like dopamine overload with connecting with, like social media. And I mean, young people may not be aware unless I'm just saying myself. I feel like sometimes I feel like saying to myself, I should know better because I know, but I still fall into it when I'm looking and I'm like the first thing in the morning, like, oh, wow, look at that one, and comparing myself or
Yes.
having an inner thought about it where it's like, and I have to like close it and go, come on, come on, Janine.
What in
Let's
the world? Yeah, that's what do you call it? My vice, like when I'm overwhelmed, when I just want to escape, I do the doom scrolling and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, it's okay because it's comedy, or I'm doing this 2 hours later, I'm doom scrolling. Like, but you don't realize what it's doing to your psyche. Like you're even, yeah, I don't wear like makeup a lot. So I do a lot of like posting on TikTok in the morning and stuff like that. I find myself comparing myself to filters and all this stuff. And it's just like, Jen, this is not your, this is not, this is be yourself. But it's so hard when it's just in your face all the time. So it's important to reset. Um, Even around these, like, these are very, very, very hard times.
Mm,
It's in it's important not to be ignorant, of course, but find the balance and find ourselves in it. Like just the simple thought of in this moment, am I safe within my body? Am I okay right now in this second? Yes. Okay, breathe into that. And then it just changes your whole energy system, your whole vibe. So then, okay, we know that you have to go back to reality. You have to deal with certain things, but take those moments throughout the day to kind of like feel yourself. That's important.
yeah. The grounding, I guess you could say, to ground yourself, because it's
Yeah.
amazing how simple a breath is, but how amazingly important and valuable because when you're like the overwhelm, right? So I'm dealing with my dad's illness and that's been stressful in the family. My mom's stressful. There are times I've said the exact for all of us to be like, all right, how are we right now? Because we don't always think this way, but we need to. In this moment, we're okay, right? We're okay. We're going to take a breath, and like it's amazing that breath, how it can calm you. It doesn't, just like with laughter, I tell people when I'm leading it, it's not erasing your problems.
Yeah.
It's not solving them, it's not removing them, but what it is helping you so that you can get back to your, the grown-up responsibilities, the life, the challenges, and handle
Yes.
them without like losing it, because it's hard.
Right. Yes. Sometimes I even, because some people are like, I cannot sit down. That's not something I would be able to do. Like, just enjoy that. Well, do the opposite. Like, do something, do some jumping jacks, do something to get you out of whatever frantic moment you're in. It doesn't have to be one particular thing. Like, find what it is for you and have a field day with it throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes movement, I know movement relieves my stress, obviously. Like, and I think that works for a lot of people. So when I am like, oh, but it's hard. It's hard to do that. Okay, get up and start walking. Or if I do go to Planet Fitness and get on the treadmill, it's hard to get myself there. But I can tell, this is something I tell people all the time. I can tell you with 100% certainty, every single time I make that decision, I feel better
Yeah.
afterwards, because it doesn't remove the issues that were making me feel, whether it was depressed or overwhelmed. Those aren't gone, but I feel better. And isn't like, that's okay. How do I feel? I feel better.
Yes, it's changing the chemistry in your body. I don't know how long, but it's it is
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. Until I need to do it again.
Right.
Right. I love this. I'm gonna have to get to one of your. I saw you had one. I think was it for Black History Month that Black
Yeah.
Scranton? I think yeah, I saw that. Now, do you have another one coming up anytime soon?
I do. Nancy K. I have one March 20, don't quote me, March 28th, possibly. Hold on, let me look it up for you. Um, Nancy K is March 21st.
Okay,
Um,
great. Oh, that's is that the first day of spring, or I want to say
is it the
maybe
21st or the 22nd? I don't know. I always
it's close, right?
it's one of those.
One
Yeah.
of those.
Um,
Okay, and do people need to register? I would imagine,
they
right?
do, yes. I believe they
Okay.
have it on their website already.
Okay, great.
And then Gather Community, I will have another one. And it's not solidified yet, but sometime in April. Going back to the cookies, I think I mentioned this, Lace Village and possibly Scranton Marketplace, same day, April 18th. Yes,
Got roller skates, Jen?
my goodness. So yes, I'm looking forward to, we have a couple of things coming up this weekend, but this won't be posted then. But yeah, it's always something.
Yeah, that's great. And honestly, if people, so what's the best way for them to follow? Because I do feel like I often see different places where you have the cookies now. Would it be Jam's Facebook page, or is that the best place?
Yes, Facebook or Instagram, Jams Delights. Our website does list, we have to add FICO, but it does list all of the locations. And then you know who advertises for us? The Farmers Market. So if you follow Southside Farmers Market, which I think everybody should, I did not know this when we first joined, but that's an area that doesn't have um, like fresh fruits and vegetables in their immediate area. So I forgot what radius it has to be in order to establish a Southside Farmers Market. But if you have an EBT or if you use food stamps, you can go to the farmers market and they have meat, they have fruits, vegetables, a couple of other things. So take advantage of that definitely.
Yeah, that's great. I know they have for a while there. Well, once in a while I was there with like my cork earrings and things like that, just a little bit. But they have eggs. I know the one gentleman that I think he comes from Honesdale has eggs, and I bought the fresh eggs there, and like bacon, and the one guy has different cheeses, and but the produce they have is excellent. Like there's a really nice fresh variety when obviously when different things are in season, but it's a really good opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you so much, Jen. I'm so excited that you're out and about. Let me ask you, and this is, I should probably just ask you off the podcast, but have you tried Wired and Inspired yet? Cafe in
I
Dunmore.
have some cookies there. And we didn't hear anything back yet, so we might come circle back with them.
Okay.
I
Just
remember
because
when they
that,
first opened, I think we tried when literally it was like the first week they opened.
okay. You're like, hey, can we have cookies
Yeah.
here? They seem to be really they seem to be doing more events now that they're open a little bit longer and like really open to different things like that. So yeah, I should have known you'd know because you're out there hustling. I don't know how the heck you have the time for this, honestly, but you do. So good for you with all that energy. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm so glad that everything's working out and that you've honestly, though, truthfully, in all seriousness, that this feels like home and community. And I hope it continues to feel that way for you and that you continue to have wonderful different collaborations. I mean, it's certainly, like I said, I see your name and face all over places. So I'm like, this is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Is I will, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to say just for anyone um who is an introvert and who doesn't really know what to do, it isn't very important that your environment is not going to change from any outside source. You really have to just do the first step. And this is from someone that lived in Scranton since 2006. And I did not know what was out there until a few years ago. So no matter what environment you're in, you are a part of that environment. So you can make it grow. It has to start with you, though. You have to take that first step, and then you'll realize there are so many connections that you didn't even know existed out there.
Yeah. I think that's great. And similar to what I had said to Michelle last week, like, I'm always on my, soapbox that there's a lot to do here. And I said, I know there's problems, whatever, but I feel like sometimes the naysayers are like, Scranton sucks, Wilkes-Barre sucks, like all these places. I'm like, I kind of feel, and I'm not trying to throw shade, that those people might say the same thing wherever they
Yeah.
go, because it's like, I know it might sound harsh, but my thought has always been, what is it that you think is lacking? If it like, try to find the people who are doing something that you would love or enjoy, and work with them, collaborate, and if it doesn't exist, make it, start it. No one handed me the things that I'm doing. You just do them. And then the other option, I'd say, if that's really not going to work for you, then maybe you need to migrate. Maybe you need to go somewhere else. But I really don't think that's the issue, because I think, to your point, which, it
Mindset.
does start with you. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit and complain, or are you going to, like, go out your door and say, what's out there?
Yeah, and a lot of people are fearful, so they'll talk a lot, and it's only because you're comparing yourself or you think you're going to fail at something. It's if you're not doing anything, you're failing. If you do something and it doesn't work out, you won. You actually did it. You only have one life. Like just just do it. I was on someone's Facebook, Cummings. I can't think of her first name right now, but she had this beautiful post about something personal about her. And she has a host of beautiful posts. Um, but one thing she was saying was just do it. Like you can make mistakes. You can be wrong. You only have one life. Just live the life because what else are you going to do? Complain? What is that doing? Live your life. That's why you're here. So don't just be like me initially and just be miserable and sitting in your house and saying, "Oh, there's nothing to do." Actually, be brave enough to just take the first step and take another one.
Yeah. I love that. And it's so true, because, and it took me longer. I mean, at 54, like, I'm more in that mindset of, like, it's okay to quote unquote fail, which really isn't failing, to your point. It's like, failing is not doing, but sometimes fear can be crippling, especially to someone who seems like, shy or introverted. It's like, oh my gosh, how could I and it seems almost devastating, but as hard as it is, and as cliche as it is to, like, push yourself, I feel like the rewarding part comes, like, once you get that, you're going to want to do it again and again and again.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
why I have so many thousands of things because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not only fun, it's I have to be doing something meaningful. It's
Mhm.
dualistic. Like I'm giving and I'm receiving. That's one of my like prayers I do in the morning. I'm like, give me a way to receive and to give. So there's like this exchange of energy. So
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Jen. I'm so glad we were able to do this, and to let listeners, the regular listeners, someone like my dear friend Ollie, who listens to all of them, he'll probably be like, "Oh, I remember her." But whether you listened before or not, it was great to catch up with you and to see what you're up to now. And I'm going to put information in the show notes. I'll put the website, Jam Still Lights website, and remind you can check out people. You can go on there and you can order them. If you're not from the area, order online or go to one of the many locations where they're located. And also, I'll put down too that you've got the upcoming Nancy K. Holmes
yeah.
workshop, and then we'll follow you to watch for the April workshop as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that things are going so well. I love this. And I think there's so many opportunities for people to collaborate and just feel good and to do what you're doing. Like you said, you give, but you're receiving because it's fulfilling. And I love that.
Yeah.
It's great. Well, thank you as always to my listeners. Wow, you know what? I'm excited that we're in March, because that was one of the longest Januaries in a while. So I can't wait to see the daffodils popping up, all the spring flowers. I already feel lighter though, let me tell you, I do. So that's a good sign. But keep on listening each week. I have some great guests lined up. And as I've mentioned before, I'm celebrating 5 years of the podcast. It's actually 5 years officially in May, but I've got special events lined up. And in April, I'm so excited. I can't give all the full details yet, but in April, I'm going to be collaborating with the group. April 13th, if you want to mark a save the date, it's going to be a screening of a very important documentary, Loud Enough Surviving Justice. And then we'll have a conversation afterwards with the film's director and a representative from WRC about the resources they have for people who might need resources getting out of a troubled relationship or who've been through abuse or assault. It's going to be a really empowering event, April 13th. I'll have more details as the organization I'm collaborating with. I'm just waiting on some marketing info, but that's coming up. I have other exciting stuff to celebrate 5 years of fabulous conversations. If you would like to be on the podcast, please reach out to me. Or if you know someone and you're like, Susie should be on the podcast, first ask Susie, make sure she's cool with it. And then you can reach out on her behalf or have her reach out. Love to have different women. I always love to get to know women, even if I don't know them. That's okay. It's okay. I've met many women who I'm just talking to for the very first time on here. It's great. And if you'd like to support conversations like these by being a podcast sponsor, reach out to me because I have very affordable packages. If that's not in your budget, believe me, I get it. You can also help, remember, by sharing this podcast. Share it with a friend, foe, anyone you know. If you've listened and you liked it, rate the podcast, write a testimonial, reach out, let me know because that really matters. Sometimes you're like, hey, is anyone listening? So it's nice to know, what's going on out there. So thank you again. As always, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my wine glass.